I've got this section of wall left in between the wall cupboards, and what I plan to do is hang the tools here. So I'm going to need a tool wall or a board put up here with which I can fix all the tools to that we use on an everyday basis. So what I've done, I've got a piece of 3/4 inch plywood that was left over from the base unit build, which I'm going to use as the main tool wall field. And then I found these couple of old floorboards in a scrap pile. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to rip them down the middle, and then I'm going to form like a picture frame around the tool wall. Whenever I'm using reclaimed timber like this, I always like to check for nails or screws. I've pulled out all the obvious ones, and then I'll go over them with this metal detector, and this will pick up anything that I've missed. These boards all look pretty good. If I found a nail, I'd get an obvious beep like that, and then obviously I can remove it before it ruins any of the tools. I've just ripped the boards in half, and now I've got the 4 pieces to form the frame, 2 short sections and 2 long sections. I'm just going to run them through the saw again just to bring them all to the same thickness, 70mm. Right, I've got all the parts of the frame now ripped to the same width with the table saw, and I'm just going to give them a light sanding now just to get the worst of the splinters off. What I want to do now is I want to cut a little rebate in the back of these frame pieces so that it'll overhang a portion of the main field. So I want to make one cut down the length of the board and then come back, change the setup and make another cut on the back of the board, and then that'll just cut a little rebate out. So what I've got set up here, I've got this set up to about 20mm deep and a couple of feather boards clamped to the table just to hold the piece nice and tight to the fence. That's one pass done with the saw, and now I've changed the setup, lowered the blade and moved the fence so we can make another cut and remove this section basically and create the rebate. All the pieces have now got the rebate on them. I've got the mitre saw swung over to 45 degrees. It just remains to cut the angles. To get these mitres exactly right, I'm going to offer this piece up to the board. I'm just going to put the rebate over the back of the board, make sure that mitre finishes nice, come along the other end and then mark it with a pencil. And then what I've also done in addition to that is I've numbered this board 1, I've also numbered this edge. We've got all the pieces mitred now on the corners. I'm just going to run some glue along the edge, and then I'm going to secure them with some brads. That's the frame of the tool wall secured with glue and brads. And then what I'm going to do, just to give these mitres a little bit of extra support, I'm going to put a pocket hole in the back and just pull them together with a screw. I've just drilled a pocket hole in the back side of the frame across the mitre here. I've just got it clamped together to keep the joint level, and then I'm just going to drive a screw in just to pull that joint nice and tight. There we go, that'll just give a bit of extra support for that mitre on the corner there. Right, we're just going to give it a couple of coats of a water-based varnish just to seal it before we put it up on the wall. That's one coat of varnish on. I'm really pleased that I didn't sand those boards back, because you know, the old natural patina that was on those old floorboards has really come out now the varnish has been put on. It's looking really good. The contrast between the two woods has made that really nice, that piece. Right, we're taking two parts of the French cleat system. I've screwed the top piece to the back of the tall wall, and then this corresponding piece we're now going to screw to the wall, and then it's simply a case of lifting it up into position, hanging it on the cleat. We've got the other part of the French cleat screwed to the wall now with some screws and plugs, and the good thing about this system is it now becomes a one-man job. All I've got to do is lift the tall wall into position and hang it on the cleats. There we go, a new tool wall, all done. Now it's time to start hanging some tools on it. This was a really simple build, just a leftover sheet of plywood and some old pine floorboards. I'm really pleased with how this has come out. I'm glad I didn't sand these boards back. I think they look great in contrast to the plywood board. I hope you've liked this video, and I hope it's given you some ideas for your own builds. Look forward to seeing you on the next video. Please give me a thumbs up. Cheers.